Hello friends, welcome back to our channel. Today we're going to explain the 2019 drama thriller film Money, which delves into the dark world of stock market fraud and scams. If you're involved in the stock market or aspire to be, this movie is a must-watch. Before we dive in, don't forget to like, share, and comment your thoughts. The story unfolds in Yeouido, South Korea's financial hub. Here, Mike works as a broker at DM Securities. Despite his hard work, Mike struggles to succeed. His commission is perpetually zero, a constant source of embarrassment for him. Coming from a poor farming family, Mike is determined to make it big, inspired by the success of his colleagues. Mike's closest friend is Kevin, who comes from a wealthy family and dreams of starting his own investment firm. Despite their different backgrounds, they remain tight-knit friends. At DM Securities, brokers earn commissions based on the size of their clients' trades. The stock market opens at 9 a.m. and closes at 3 p.m., a tense 6-hour window where fortunes are made and lost. Big money players often manipulate the market by artificially lowering stock prices, buying low, and selling high, a practice known as speculation which devastates small investors. Though illegal, speculation remains rampant despite regulators like the Financial Supervisory Service, FSS, trying to keep it in check. One day, Mike receives a client call to trade 20,000 shares of an electronics company. Unsure whether to buy or sell, he buys them, only to be scolded moments later when the client angrily reveals he wanted to sell. Because of Mike's mistake, the company has to refund the client from its own funds. As punishment, no one receives commissions that month and everyone is furious at Mike. This is when Lien, the firm's top broker, takes notice. Lien tells Mike he was once in the same position but turned his life around by working with a secretive investment firm led by a broker named Jack, who has insider market information. Mike, inspired by Lien's success, is eager to work for Jack too. When Mike finally meets Jack, he's stunned by his charisma. Jack gives him a phone and assigns him to manage the Samuel Asset account, warning him to follow every order without question if he wants to succeed. The next day, Mike sets up the Samuel Asset trading account, which holds $50 million. As instructed, he waits for the call. At market opening, he receives an order to buy 900,000 shares of Spread, a large-cap company known for never selling over 500 shares at once. Mike realizes something is amiss. Another broker working for Jack had quietly put 1.5 million shares of Spread on the market to drive speculation. As the market opens, Mike buys 900,000 shares, causing a massive stir as everyone wonders why so many shares are suddenly for sale. Mike follows Jack's instructions and buys only 900,000 shares as planned. The vice president at DM Securities is stunned by this massive transaction and calls the client to confirm. The client, however, is fake, and the deal was just a front for a much bigger scheme. News spreads that a Hong Kong bank had dumped some securities below market price, crashing the value of these stocks and triggering a market-wide panic. Jack seizes this chance to buy up cheap shares, using the drop he engineered. South Korea's Financial Supervisory Service, FSS, notices the turmoil. They assign investigator Roy to the case. The broker who sold the 1.5 million shares has already fled the country, and Samuel Asset's office is empty. Roy finds only one man left behind, Mike, the unwitting broker caught in the middle. Roy confronts Mike, revealing he's traced the $400,000 commission Mike earned from this deal to an offshore account in the Bahamas opened under a fake name, Mark Cho. Overwhelmed by the sudden wealth, Mike uses this money to buy a luxurious flat and provide a comfortable life for his parents. But he grows suspicious when Roy hands him his visiting card during a chance meeting at a restaurant. Jack calls Mike in for the next job, program trading. This involves executing massive trades of different shares in a single move, like dumping an entire basket of stocks at once. Mike executes these trades worth $139 million, earning him a commission of $1.75 million. He becomes the top broker in the office, soaking in the praise. But Roy warns him again, he's watching Mike closely. Jack reassures him, saying Roy has no proof and advises him to take a vacation in the Bahamas. There, Mike visits the bank holding his offshore funds and sees $1.41 million sitting in the account. He splurges and relaxes, even meeting David, an investment firm owner from New York. Returning home, Mike finds the FSS has raided his office because of his suspicious trades. The company president fires Leon, putting Mike in charge of Leon's accounts. But Mike's success is short-lived when news breaks that Beck, a broker also tied to Jack, has committed suicide. Mike recalls seeing Beck with Jack once. The police begin questioning him as Beck's last call was to Mike. Digging into his past trades, Mike sees Beck was one of the brokers who helped him with the program trading deal. Meanwhile, Roy pressures Kim, a colleague, to steal Mike's trading data from his computer. Roy also investigates Hang, another broker linked to Jack. Hang and Leon, both aware of Jack's true manipulations, realize they're being set up as scapegoats. They decide to cooperate with Roy to bring Jack down. Mike, however, finds out Hang has committed suicide by jumping from a building. He quickly realizes it's murder. Jack had him killed to tie up loose ends. Shaken, Mike begins to see how deep he's gotten into this mess. Kevin warns him that he's being used and could end up in serious trouble as Roy's investigation closes in. Ignoring Kevin's warnings, Mike continues to work with Jack. Jack brings him in for the next risky job: naked short selling, an illegal form of trading. Unlike standard short selling, where you borrow shares before selling, naked shorting skips borrowing altogether. Shares that don't exist are sold into the market, creating artificial downward pressure and panic. Jack's plan involves trading $35 million worth of Signal Tech shares, promising Mike a $5 million cut. The next day, two clients call Mike to buy 70,000 and 80,000 shares of Signal Tech respectively. In reality, it's all Jack's ploy. He uses these brokers to quietly buy up 20 million shares at rock-bottom prices. Mike realizes this is connected to a news story he saw. A fire had broken out at Signal Tech 2 days earlier, causing investor panic. Jack exploited this, flooding the market with phantom shares via naked shorting to drive prices down. Once the panic was in full swing, he bought the real shares for pennies on the dollar, aiming to gain control of the distressed company and flip its assets for millions in profit. Meanwhile, Kim uses the chaos to steal Mike's transaction data onto a pen drive. Jack has Leon, who knew too much, taken out in a suspicious accident that leaves him in a coma. Jack threatens Mike at the hospital. If Mike betrays him, he'll end up like Leon. Mike's now trapped. Roy and the securities unit raid DM Securities, seizing all account files. Roy confronts Mike with proof that Jack's schemes have ruined countless brokers and firms. Roy also reveals he has Mike's entire trading history, data that Kim stole for him. At the same time, Mike learns that Kevin's father's company, Weizong, is about to go bankrupt, Jack's next target. Kevin's uncle is desperate to sell Weizong at a low price. Mike convinces him to hold off, promising he can push Weizong's stock price up again. The next morning, Mike rallies his colleagues to buy all of Weizong's shares through the global investment account. This sudden demand reverses the downward spiral and boosts Weizong's market value just in time. Meanwhile, Kevin persuades his uncle not to sell his shares just yet. Jack tries to call Mike, but Mike ignores his calls. Roy learns about Mike's plan and heads to Global Investment's office. Mike quietly makes 9 million shares of Weizong available for sale. These are the shares he'd recently purchased through Global's account. Here, Mike's real plan is revealed. He had met David in the Bahamas, and David owns an investment company in New York. Using his hidden millions in a Bahamian bank, Mike had David's company buy up Weizong's shares in secret. As Weizong's share price skyrockets, investors, including Kevin's uncle, refuse to sell. Jack's plan to buy the company for pennies collapses and he's furious. He sends a hitman after Mike, but security intervenes just in time. Roy then raids Jack's global investment office, but Jack escapes. Determined to catch him, Roy learns from Mike that Jack will surely try to meet him again. As expected, Jack calls Mike and tells him to meet at the metro station. At the station, Jack realizes that Mike is wearing a hidden microphone. Roy is listening in on their conversation. Jack's hitman stabs Mike in the stomach, but Roy arrives just in time to arrest both the hitman and Jack. Jack thinks there's no proof against him, but Mike reveals he's been recording Jack since their very first meeting, providing a mountain of evidence. Roy arrests Jack, but Mike manages to slip away, calling Roy with the exact locations of Jack's secret phones and files. As Mike boards a train and catches his breath, he notices a mysterious man traveling on the same train, and the story ends. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please like, share, and subscribe. See you next time with another thrilling story.